Hey everybody, it's Adam Tracy, and tokenization of securities is becoming a big thing as you see more and more platforms offering the service or purporting to offer the service, but not really doing it right. And so I wanted to kind of amalgamate some questions I've received and give like a really brief overview on how tokenization should be done, right? So whatever entity you have, whether it's a corporation or an LLC, you have the underlying securities, and tokenization is simply tokenizing those securities. But it's not as simple as just tying or just creating the token and saying, well, these represent the common stock of the company. That alone doesn't mean that you have like a right that a common stockholder would. So typically what I would advise is the creation of what's called a certificate of designation, right? And in most cases, you're going to see that there's actually two classes of securities, like a control class, like a common stock, and then a tokenized class of securities. And the biggest problem with tokenization is that people don't adequately define the rights and privileges of that token and what that actually means in terms of things like dividends or liquidation or voting and all the things that come with a security, right? And those rights can vary depending on what you have in a certificate of designation. So a certificate of designation is something you actually file with the state of incorporation. And what it does is delineate in no uncertain terms what this tokenized class of security really gives the holder, right? And again, that could be anything. Like you could put anything you want in there, right? You know, I get 100% return every 5 days, whatever it is. It can be insane, and a lot of them are insane, but you have to have that documentation, right? And it's wise to publicly make that available because then you've codified that, right? Like you've set that in stone and then people can see it and there's a legal right to the stockholder. So I've seen scenarios where people have purchased like a tokenized security and then there's like a corporate action and they file suit or, complain because they think they should have had voting rights, but they weren't afforded voting rights, but there's nothing that says they can't vote, right? So they don't know where they are. They actually exist in the capital structure of the company. So it creates this huge clusterfuck, right? It's a massive mess. And so many people out there tokenizing securities because it's attractive to do and it's easier to sell to like a certain class of people. And it's great. But if you don't have a certificate of designation and delineate what the rights and privileges are, then you're completely up the shit's creek, right? Like you have no hope of this going long term because eventually something's going to happen. You're going to get purchased, you're going to have a reorganization, you're going to have a liquidation, you're going to issue dividends, something, and people are going to get confused because they don't know what they have, right? They don't know what they bought from you. And like a properly written offering memorandum that goes along with this, like in the context of an STO or something like that, assuages that because those terms should be in there, but you have to take it a step farther and actually have this certificate of designation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a sample certificate of designation on my website, adamtracy.io, and you'll see it in the blog section, and you can download it, use it, change it, do whatever you got to do. But if you're going to go in the tokenized route, you have to tie the old world, right, which is ancient corporate law of the states, with the new world, which is tokenization and blockchain. If you don't tie those two together legally, you're in for a whole mess of shit. So that's my quick take on tokenization. Definitely hit me up if you have questions, adam@adamtracy.io, and hope to talk to you soon. Cheers.